In this episode, NOLA here, coming to you from the Hopedale Marina, a great place to go fishing and see lots of Louisiana wildlife. Welcome to NOLA. Let the good times roll. Alright, the car's packed. It's time to get on the road. The abandoned Six Flags amusement park's there on your left. And it's going to be quite a drive out there. It's only 38 miles. It takes almost an hour to drive out through all of the backwoods that we'll be going through. Now we'll be coming up on this bridge here, and as we go over the bridge and look over to the right, we can see the city of New Orleans going off in the background, just kind of like it's floating on its own little sea of the bayou out there. And then as we begin to descend the bridge downwards back into the bayou, it's almost like the city gets swallowed up back down and disappears off in the distance. So then we are on our way to get the bait, because we have to have bait to go fish. And the Hopedale Marina, we called ahead and it's already sold out, so make sure to always call ahead for your bait, because if you don't have bait, you're not going to do too well at fishing unless you happen to be some expert with the fake baits. So here we found a place that did have bait on the way. It's also a very busy place with a lot of both commercial fishing and sport fishing vessels out there. And it actually was a pretty good sized place, and definitely added it to my spots to get bait at. So the name of it is Bait Incorporated. So don't tell anybody, it's one of our secrets, right? Keep it secret. So they have quite a lot of shrimp and some interesting things to know about the shrimp on the list you can read yourself. And then we have our bait. Time to get back on the road, but just looking around, this is a nice place. They have a lot of ships and boats, mostly look commercial, but there were a few definitely private vessels in here. Very photogenic. So now when we go through the last floodgates here, we're at the point of no return. So we're on our way. And this is when you're really getting out into the bayou and a really rural part away from the city. It's so close, but a world away in so many ways. And as we're gonna speed down, we'll be turning left. So we have Hopedale and Shell Beach both to the left. And this is a really scenic drive. We're going to do it way faster and skip a lot of parts too, just to get us to our destination faster. So there are just so many boats out here, and they are definitely well used, as you will see. People in Louisiana definitely make good use of their boats and fishing equipment. And there are just so many people out fishing on this day. It is just completely packed out everywhere on this day. And you'll just see boat after boat, dock after dock, and just so many people out and about doing things, because this is definitely one of the top fishing spots in the entire country, according to many people. And just, it's getting more and more crowded. There's so much construction, there's things being built all over the place. Things used to be very different just a few years ago, but it is getting increasingly popular. So we definitely are getting more crowded everywhere. Let's look at this. So here, unfortunately, we have a roadkill gator. It's a sad thing. This is a gator area, and they do cross the highway here sometimes, and people can't always stop, and unfortunately, a lot of these gators do get hit sometimes. There are a lot of gators here. All right, well, we are almost to Hopedale Marina. It's just up here, and here it is. And this place has a whole lot of things to offer. It's a great place. There's a lot of area to cover. It's gotten really popular with kayakers. So they typically will go just straight out around. There's a little river area there they like to go to. There's lots of wildlife. Birds from the minute you pull into the parking lot are everywhere. With the seagulls right here. And birds, like pelicans, are certainly attracted to the cleaning area, because when you clean fish, the pelicans definitely will come up and attack you for what you're throwing away. So the COVID-19 coronavirus definitely has done changes. We have our social distancing orders everywhere. Of course, nobody's in line because they were sold out of bait, and so nobody was waiting there. Now the pelicans can get really aggressive because they are way too acclimated to humans, and they're used to being fed, because when people clean fish, they are throwing fish to the pelicans. So the pelicans basically live here, stay near the fish cleaning area right here, and they just are used to congregating and being fed very well. And there's also the little cats that you saw here before that also get fed pretty darn well, being dock cats on the leftover fish that are cleaned and the parts thrown away. And then this bird here, it looks like this little kitten is wanting to attack it, but it is not for some reason, so I'm guessing it had some tough luck in the past not winning against attacking a bird. And the pelicans still think they rule the roost even when the boats go past. So definitely a fascinating, interesting place to go see. All right, we're going out on a smaller boat today because we're going to go out into some more shallow water on our hunt for our fish. So we couldn't go in a larger boat in some of these more shallow areas like this. So depending where you're going, what you're fishing for, what the weather, the conditions are, that can kind of determine what sort of crafts you want to take out. And as you might have already realized, definitely a lot of the adventure of fishing in Louisiana is getting there. So the environment is beautiful, it's wonderful, so you can take a nice ride in a vehicle, another nice ride in a boat to get where you're going, and then you get to enjoy the great outdoors. Well, our first fish was a catfish. Most of us don't keep the catfish, we just throw it back, and then we get back on the water after we tried to fish in the spot for a while and didn't catch anything but the catfish. And then we went out to the rocks because there were a lot of people out at the rocks, so apparently they were catching a few things, and we saw some people catching some small fish. But eventually I hooked a decent sized fish to take home for a little dinner. And this was probably the best fish I saw caught in this area during the time we were there. And as I'm reeling it up, it's a nice sheephead. It's going to be popping up here. It was fighting hard. There it is. So this was the best fish that anybody caught in this area that I saw. Hopefully some people did catch some, because if there was one out there, there should have been more. He put up a good fight for his size, and he did make a good dinner later, actually. And after that spot, we went on to yet another spot.
Oh, a stingray!
Usually I don't keep the stingrays, but as slow as a day as it was, I did consider keeping it. I've actually never eaten one before, but I do hear they're delicious. But I set this one free. But next time, maybe I'll keep one to try it out. My friend caught a nice redfish while I dealt with the stingray. Then we didn't catch anything else worthwhile, so we moved on to another spot. We did have a weather front moving in, and the water was getting way too choppy for a small boat like ours, but I did catch this crab. And it was a really beautiful blue crab. colors on this thing are just fantastic, and it just is a really beautiful creature, along with being delicious when cooked properly. This was actually the second crab of the day that I'd caught. I'd caught a much smaller one earlier. So we definitely caught a wide variety of aquatic creatures on our little expedition today. But the weather front moving in means that it was time to go home. Of course, I still had some bait on my hook and one last cast, and what do you think I caught? Yet another catfish. And this is a common thing in this area. Actually, though, I've caught some pretty good sized redfish right off the dock too. But the catfish usually live pretty close to the docks often. So if you like catfish, this is always a good spot to go for. But occasionally you will catch some nice redfish, sheephead, other fish will be in the area. So the catfish are just the most common one you get generally in this area. Well, we will say goodbye to the catfish. And it's finally time for us to put our equipment away and head home, because we do need to beat this weather front that's heading in pretty fast. So overall, hey, it's a good day as long as we caught some fish and have a little dinner to bring home. If you would like to follow me on Yelp, I have thousands of pictures and reviews on there. You can also follow me on Instagram for more photos. And please like this video and subscribe to the NOLA channel. We would also love it if you would help us out on Patreon and help the channel continue to have more content produced. Thank you very much.